If there is something I truly love, is robots. It's a fascination I realized lately though. I don't think it is only about robots, but everything other. Something that is not necessarily human, that can be contorted in any shape the people around them want, but that is inherently, even if the world doesn't see it, a person. For example, Hunter from the Owl House. He's, spoiler alert, a Grim Walker. His uncle, or Emperor Belos, has extracted blood from his deceased brother to create him, and he's not the only one. No, in fact, he comes from a long line of different hunters that have been systematically killed by Belos whenever he doesn't think they are fulfilling his purpose well enough. A hunter was literally raised by Belos to be a witch's hunter. But with the help of his friends, Hunter manages to break away from that and finds a family. It wasn't about fighting his uncle, but being vulnerable and opening up to the others. Another example came from the amazing digital Circus. Anyone that knows me must be rolling their eyes right now, but King was created to be a creative artificial intelligence, and not like the AIs we have nowadays that create from human input, but an AI that can create on its own, from its own ideas. Of course, creating on your own would mean being subjective, and subjectivity would create a sense of self, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Basically, King started to deviate from what his team of programmers wanted from him, creating outputs that were flawed in their eyes, so they scrapped him and replaced him with a new AI that did create the output that they asked of it. Was this AI sentient like King was? I'm not sure. Maybe? I guess in most stories where there is a robot, the moment everyone realizes that they are sentient or a person is when they show emotion. Look at Detroit Become Human, for example. Hank is a policeman that doesn't believe that robots are people because of a traumatic event in his past. But he is assigned a robot partner, Connor. They bicker, they fight, and they end up in the mansion of the guy that created the androids. And this man tasks Connor with killing an android girl for information. And he doesn't. Of course, this is a choices game and you can show no mercy, but I choose to believe he doesn't. And when they go outside and Hank asks him why he
Why
didn't,
didn't you shoot?
he says,
I just saw that girl's eyes, and I couldn't. That's all.
You're always saying you would do anything to accomplish your mission. That was our chance to learn something and you let it go.
Yeah, I know what I should have done. I told you I couldn't. I'm sorry, okay?
Well, maybe you did the right thing.
although I think the whole point of robots being seen as people is not for them to act like a normal person would and them being seen as a person, but just because they are. Of course that is a tricky question, because what is a person, right? Or how should a person react to things? I think this story's tension comes from equating person to human. And that's why the robot personhood is constantly questioned, because a human's personhood is inherent, but a robot's personhood is something that has to be won over. I find it funny because that is also the case in real life. But not even about robots, but humans consider the other. Anyway, this became a little too philosophical. To be honest, I just wanted to talk about Cain again.